Jadon Sancho. How we doing, everyone? Sam here, United People's TV. It's Friday. I've got a smile on my face. I've had my haircut. You're in a good mood because Jadon Sancho, there's been actual, genuine developments when it comes to Jadon Sancho and his, let's be honest, protracted move to Manchester United that's gone on for last summer, last January, and now it's going to this summer. But things are happening. We've all been waiting for it, you know, all the tentative talks, the tiny nudges in certain directions that have been happening, but nothing's really moved. In the last 24 hours, Sancho to United, that deal has become a lot closer. I'm going to run through all of the details, explain how the story developed yesterday so you can really understand exactly what happened. If you are new to the channel, you're probably not because you're at the start of the video, but welcome everybody. You know the drill by now. Where are you watching it from? I'll try and give you all some big shout outs throughout the video. Please make sure you send in your super chats as well. I like answering the super chats and it helps the channel. Let's be honest, after COVID, everybody needs a little bit of help. But Sancho, man, I'm excited. And I think you should be excited as well. There's so many updates to really kind of run through here. And I kind of want to try and do it in a chronological order because so much happened yesterday. Quickly before I do, I always like this. There's so many people watching from so many different places. Haley watching from Singapore on YouTube. Got Reeves watching from Nigeria. Manish watching from India. Chris watching from the beautiful Swansea. How you doing? Belfast. Stephen, how you doing, my man? Saroni watching from Kenya. Azrael from Malaysia. Ferguson, how you doing? Watching from UAE. Oh, man, it is a good morning all round, and there's plenty of you joining in. But let's start with the story. And the reason I'm getting excited about this is because it's the sources. I'm looking at the Times, the Telegraph, the BBC, the Guardian, everybody uniting under the same sort of story. And that is where it gets exciting because it's not just one person you're relying on for just to get a bit of a buzz. It's the full press at the same time. Now, yesterday, the early story was that United had a £60 million bid for Sancho rejected by Dortmund. United have long been linked with the move for the 21-year-old. Dortmund are believed to be demanding a fee of £77.5 million, which is exactly what Fabrizio Romano has been saying the whole time. 95 million euros. That United knew what the fee was, but they were kind of lowballing and going in and hoping that Dortmund would accept. They didn't, but that's how negotiations work. If you go to try and buy, I think I said this on the yesterday's stream, if you go to try and buy a car, you're not going to go in at the full price straight away. You're going to try and undercut and hopefully meet somewhere in the middle. It's a standard practice of negotiations. What United did last summer, we just didn't get the deal done. It's what they've done this summer with a 60 million bid. Now, that was followed up again by, this is Mike McGrath at the Telegraph saying the same story. United have had a £60 million bid rejected by Dortmund. Again, same story, that they're holding out for 77.5 million. Now, that move in itself might have frustrated quite a lot of people because you're thinking, what are you doing, United? Just give them what they want. As I said, that's not really how negotiations work. But the interesting thing here yesterday, and this is why I'm excited, it's the aggressive nature of United's negotiations. Because look, we had a £60 million bid rejected. Then Simon Stone from the BBC comes later that United have had a £67 million bid rejected. Now, to me, that means that there was more than one bid that went in. And that is crucial because it means United are not just sitting and resting on their laurels and sitting and just trying to play a negotiation game that they want to drag out and drag out and drag out. It means that they've gone in with 60. That wasn't accepted. Boom. Let's go straight back with 67 million. That is crucial. Comment here from Nikhil. How you doing, Nikhil? Thank you for that, buddy. Will it happen before the Euros? I would love to say yes. The crucial thing is that Sancho's agreed terms already. That's already done and dusted. And that's an important aspect because he's going to be busy at the Euros and it means that you can just leave United and Dortmund to agree on the fee. But going back to this point here that I'm making, I don't think there's been any real confirmation that there were two separate bids yesterday. Maybe these are people are getting different information. Maybe there's people saying that it's 60 million, some saying it's 67 million. But if United did go back with a higher bid in the same day, within 24 hours, two bids going in, that is big. Let's read through what Simon Stone had to say. United have had a 67 million bid rejected for Sancho because Dortmund won 77.5 million. It's the exact same figure being banded around by everybody. So 95 million euros clearly is the price that Dortmund want for Sancho. BBC Sport also understands that in addition to the fee not being high enough, United want to pay it over 5 years, whereas Dortmund are only willing to extend it to 4. That's a minor... That's something that you can give Dortmund. Maybe if they reduce the add-on or the bonuses, that's a very easy negotiation point. It says United are now considering whether to revise their offer. Moving on from what Simon Stone was saying, we move on to Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian. Now, it's important to sort of understand and know these names. Simon Stone, when it comes to the BBC, Jacob Steinberg, excellent reputation as well. Now, the interesting part here that Jacob Steinberg says is that United agreed personal terms with Sancho, understood they're worth £350,000 a week. You let me know what you think about that. Is that a fair price? Is that a fair amount for Sancho? Is that way too much for Sancho? I mean, it's quite a lot, but it's Jadon Sancho, right? And he goes with the same story as well. United have had a £67 million bid rejected by Dortmund, and that they want, lo and behold, £77.5 million for Sancho. I mean, it's the same story, really coming from a lot of places. 1 second here. It's something I need to do. I've done a... I asked yesterday if anybody wanted to get involved. Oh, really? Don't want to hear myself. If anybody wanted to get involved and become a mod, Nick, you're there. Boom. You're a moderator now, my friend. Thank you very much for sending in that super chat, my friend. That really helped me see that you were there. But if anybody wants to become a mod, just sort of email me a username. I'm kind of struggling to find usernames here, but I found Nick. Nick is now here. Where is he? So welcome to the team, Nick Lewis. If there's anybody else who wants to get involved, I'm going to be here Monday to Friday throughout the summer, and it's good to get... Let's see where else you're watching this from. We've got Al Hassan watching from Ghana. Whereabouts in Ghana, my friend? I stayed in Accra for a few months. Got Engel watching from Nigeria. How you doing, my friend? Let's see where else we're watching. Partington. Where's that? Don't know where that is, but good morning. Ojo. Simon watching from Uganda. How you doing, buddy? Where else are we watching from? More from Nigeria. Patrick watching that. It's just all around the world. Really is good fun. Oh, look, I come from Singapore there. Mac reacts. Oh, look, someone watching from Bulgaria. Where's that? Oh, Tony watching from Switzerland. That's wicked. Davor from Bosnia. I'd love to get a map and just put pins in where you're all watching it from, because everyone's around the world. Going back to the story, though. And as you can tell, I think this is probably the most animated, the most excited I've been about Sancho, because I'm seeing the club. And this is exactly what I said about... I want to make a good point here. This is exactly what I said about John Murtough. I said John Murtough had to come in this summer and make sure that United conducted themselves differently in the transfer market. And a big, big part of that is not necessarily just going in and giving a club what they want to get the deal done early. But it means introducing a new efficiency to negotiations. And the efficiency is putting in a £60 million bid that's rejected, and within 12 hours going back with a £67 million, instead of waiting 2 to 3 weeks and posturing and trying to just creep out a deal. No, it's say, right, cool, you don't accept that. Let's come back very quickly. Let's get this deal done. And that is what I said. And like you can see it up there, I said United are dealing with this transfer now aggressively. They're pushing for this deal with Sancho, and that is why it feels different to me, and that is why it's important to make that statement, because previously United would have just dilly-dallied and waited around for any sort of update with Jadon Sancho. Now, moving on from what we said there, we've got the Times, we've got the Telegraph, we've got BBC and the Guardian. Fabrizio Romano, this is what he tweeted yesterday. Obviously, this is covered on the People's Person. I'm going to keep pushing it. It's our website. We cover it every single day. Make sure you all go over there and join in, because you get all the latest news. You really do. Red Billy's excellent at covering all the newspapers from Europe, getting the stories up there in the morning. You should go over there. Anyway, what did Fabrizio have to say? Let's zoom in here. Manchester United are working hard on the Sancho deal, as too long negotiations is not the best strategy, with Dortmund asking for 95 million. It's exactly what I'm saying there. United are not just waiting and trying to drag this negotiation process out. Nah, we're trying to go in and go hard, and that is important. All people involved in negotiations are now confident, but cautious after what happened a year ago. After personal terms, agents' fees agreed to. That's an important thing, because you don't want to have the agent scuppering a deal like Mino Raiola, do you? But he hasn't. The agent fees are agreed. That's important. I'm sorry. Like, I know there's going to be so many of you that are going to have a naturally pessimistic and a naturally maybe negative stance when it comes to United and how we're dealing with Sancho. But I'm seeing noises and I'm seeing movements. And I'm seeing United pushing in the directions that we just didn't do last summer. And the fact that it's cheaper, that helps United because we're cheapskates. So we like it as cheap as possible. But everything is moving in the right direction. Now let's read a few of your comments out here. We got a wicked. There you go, Sam. You get Bula watching from Fiji. Fiji. That's a new one. Wow. Queen watching from Hong Kong. I read it out. There you go. Nobody has said. Nobody have an issue that Sancho's wages is 350k a week. I mean, let's be honest. David De Gea's wages are £350,000 a week. Katerina, you're a new one. I haven't seen anybody watching from Serbia. Good morning to you. James watching from Spain. I'm not sure if we've had any Spanish either. My God, everywhere. I'm just happy. I'm happy that United seem to be doing exactly what I wanted them to do this summer. And it's moving quickly and aggressively in the transfer deals, because it's the one thing that Ed Woodward just got wrong. Football transfers aren't just like a normal business transaction where you can it's in the public eye, and business transactions, big ones, are typically done behind the scenes. So that sort of negotiation process can happen at board level, can happen when it's not just in the public eye. And when it comes to Manchester United and transfers, everything is in the public eye. And it does make it more exhausting. We all know that because we have to go through and watch every single tiny moment. But I think things are going in the right direction here. Quickly before I move on, loads of you watching. If you're new on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. It's free. Hit the button down below. Hit the notifications bell. If you're watching this on Facebook, can you share it? Can you drop a like on the video as well? It helps. It really does help. And I really enjoy doing these videos, and I want to get everybody involved in this channel because I think the community is wicked and I want more of you here. Who else we got watching? We've got Jonathan on Facebook watching from Finland. Wow. Wicked, man. What's it like there? What about a DM, says Christian. That's what they really need. And also a centre-back to support Harry. Look, I'll get into there's more transfer stuff I'm going to be talking about after this. I've got a little bit on Declan Rice. I've got a little update on Paul Pogba. But Jadon Sancho is the big story this morning, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that in the most positive way possible. Will a deal be done before the Euros? Well, I'm not really sure about that because the Euros start in, 11 hours? So I don't think we're going to be seeing an announcement that a deal has been reached. I think that would actually be quite unfair on Jadon, or maybe it wouldn't be unfair on Jadon Sancho. Maybe that would actually help Jadon Sancho. I'm not sure. But look, Rob Baker watching from South Wales. How you doing, buddy? And we've got someone from Mauritius. Man, everybody comments where you're from. It's cool. I don't think a deal will be done before the Euros starts. But I'll be honest, I don't feel as worried now as I would have done before, because these updates in the last 24 hours have really shown me that United are going hard for Sancho. And as soon as Sancho is done, maybe we can move on to what I would consider the bigger priorities. And that's where you get a central defensive midfielder. Someone like Declan Rice, for example. Now, let's see what the update on old Declan is. Manchester United considering a bid for the West Ham United ace. And this is coming from The Athletic, so a very reputable source. What are they saying? The Athletic also state that United and Chelsea should expect competition from City. So Declan Rice. Let's speak about Declan Rice. Yes or no? Type it in the comments. If you've got any super chats you want to send in about Declan Rice or any questions about defensive midfielders, please send them in too. But do you think that Declan Rice would be the right signing for Manchester United? Is he the defensive midfielder who could solve it? Now, I'll be honest, I haven't watched a huge amount of Declan Rice. But I'm going to during the Euros. He's going to be United. Sorry, not United. I keep saying United. I think he's going to be England's holding midfielder who's probably going to be sitting behind maybe Mason Mount, maybe Foden, Jack Grealish. He's going to be the one tasked with sitting in front of that defence and letting the rest of the team do what they want. And that is the defensive midfielder that United need to sign, because we need somebody who's capable and happy to sit in front of our back four, and let Pogba and Bruno go and run the show. We don't really. I mean, if you get a defensive midfielder who's got a bit of a passing range, or someone like I don't know, maybe Ruben Neves, then that's a bonus. But it's not it's not exactly what we need. We need someone who's like Matic back in the day. Matic back in the day was a god in that position, and that's why we signed him. But he's just too old now. So Matic has lost it. Let's see what you think about Declan Rice. Rahari says, I'd take Declan Rice every day. Sita says, Bubakari Samir. I think he's going to Leicester. I mean, Leicester's recruitment. I'm so jealous about Leicester's recruitment in the last few years. I think they've done so well. Yes, but Ruben Neves, says Chris. Well, you know what I think about that. I've always said that. I think Ruben, it still staggers me. Absolutely staggers me that we're not after him. Matt, how you doing, Matt? I'm sure we can get a cheaper, more effective option who can play as a single pivot. He's never played on his own. Well, let's see what happens with Rice and England. If England go on to win Euro 2020 and Rice plays in that holding role on his own and does it well, I mean, his price is going to skyrocket, surely. How much is his price already? You're probably looking at around, I don't know, 80, 90 million for Declan Rice, I would say. Not because that's how much he's worth, but because he's in the Premier League, because he's English, and because there's a United tax that will go on top of it. It is what it is. That's just how much Declan Rice would cost. I'm not personally sure whether he's worth that much money. And I've always said, and I'll keep saying it, Ruben Neves, man. Ruben Neves. I don't understand why no one at United is even speaking about Ruben Neves. I've showed you his stats before. Like defensively, he's actually statistically better than Declan Rice. Dynamically, he's stronger. I think he's got more to look. I don't know. I'll be happy with any defensive midfielder who is quality in United this summer, because that's how desperately we need that position filled. Because if you look at the top six, City, Fernandinho, United, nothing. Who finished third? Chelsea, I don't even care. Chelsea, Kante, Liverpool, Fabinho, Arsenal have even got Partey, Spurs have got Højbjerg, Leicester have got Ndidi. Every single team around United in this Premier League has a holding midfielder, because it's a crucial position in the modern game. And Manchester United just do not have that. And that's why the balance is never there in midfield. And I've said it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to have to do a separate video on this, because I feel so strongly about it. United have, and I mean this, zero chance of winning anything next season of note, and of note means Premier League or the Champions League, without signing a defensive midfielder. For me, it is as simple as that. It doesn't matter if we sign Jadon Sancho. Hell, I don't even think it matters if we sign a partner to Harry Maguire. We need that central defensive midfielder to come in and give the balance in that midfield, so we can play a proper 4-3-3. The only reason we're playing 4-2-3-1 all the time is because we need to play Fred McTominay, because Solskjaer doesn't trust anybody to play that position on his own. That's why I think it's so important. Let's read a few more of your comments out. Coop Miners, plenty of you keep saying Coop Miners. I had a look at him. He does look good. Yes, Ruben Neves says, Awanku. I hope I got that right. Which centre-back should we buy? We should look for defensive recruitment. We absolutely should. Centre-backs, we're looking at Rafael Varane, Pau Torres, Jules Koundé from Sevilla. Let's see how he plays with France at the Euros. I'll be interested in certainly watching him with some real, I don't know, just what I'll be watching him. And Ndidi is better than Rice. Ndidi's great. Ndidi really is great. We got Say watching from Tibet. How you doing, my friend? I do love all the comments. Oh, look, Hamza watching from Pakistan. Good morning to you too. Right, let's see. Anybody? Right. Where should we move on to? Let's move on to Paul Pogba, eh? Paul Pogba, he came back with a flourish last season, didn't he? And it's always seen at certain points that Paul Pogba maybe wasn't going to stay at the club. For me, now it looks like Pogba is going to stay at the club, and I really do hope he stays at the club. But after a long time waiting, Manchester United are finally in contract talks with Paul Pogba. It's come from Sky Sports. We've opened contract discussions. Now, that's crucial. I don't really know why it's taken this long to open these discussions, because Paul Pogba's only got, I think, 1 year left on his deal. We've already lost Paul Pogba on a free transfer once in our lifetime. Let's try and not do it twice. Manchester United. Let's maybe learn from our mistakes and see what goes on. Before I continue, make sure you please, I'll take a second out, subscribe to the channel. There's so many of you watching now. I know that you're not subscribed, so please join, please subscribe and get involved in these daily live videos. And if you're watching on Facebook, please drop a like on it. Please share the video. It really does help because it gets the channel out to more people. We've got Hanessa watching from Brazil. Make sure, guys, you don't spam the comments too much. There really are so many comments coming in. It's really hard to follow. Another one come from South Wales. How you doing, buddy? Rob Baker saying, I think we need Harry Kane in the squad. Harry Kane's not coming anywhere near United this summer. I hate to break it to you, but no one is going to. I mean, City might. Chelsea could. I don't think they will. Plus, I don't think Spurs would sell him to Chelsea, but I think he's just going to cost too much money, Harry Kane. Way too much money. And especially when you think that he's the favourite for the Golden Boot at the Euros. If he goes on to do that, his price is going to go up even more so. And it's already very expensive. It's going to be like, what, 100, 150 million for Harry Kane? A lot. Jadon Sancho has also been talking about his future. He did an interview yesterday, which I found quite interesting. And he was asked about the speculation. And this, let me zoom in here so you can read this. This is what he had to say. I'm cool about it. There's always going to be speculation, especially when you do well. It's just how you handle that on the pitch. You've got to keep doing what you're doing. If you keep doing that, then I'm sure that won't be a problem. There's some lovely Neutrogena T-gel for you. The main thing is my football, and that's what I'm focusing on at the moment. Asked if he would rather have no speculation leading up to a major tournament. He said, I don't really look at it. During the season, I always focus on myself and the team because that's the most important thing you can do. Every time I'm on the pitch, I always give it my all, and I try to curate what I do on the pitch, and that's with goals and assists. That's what I try to do. Blah, 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 blah. Bit boring now. But Jadon Sancho, he was asked about it. He's keeping cool about it. Sancho's done the hard part in that he's agreed personal terms. He's agreed to the transfer. He's agreed to join Manchester United and become our marquee signing this summer. In the grand scheme of things, that's actually the hardest part of the transfer. It's just that United are making the other part far more difficult than it needs to be because we are just trying to squeeze money out of him. So not money out of him, money out of Borussia Dortmund. That's just what United are doing. We've got Mike watching from Melbourne, Australia. Good morning to you as well. What I'll do here, I'll go for another 5 minutes. So make sure you get your comments. If you've got any super chats, please send them in now. I'll answer your questions. And I'll keep reading your comments out for the next 5 minutes. Paul here with a really good comment. Frank Kessie, he was absolutely wicked for AC Milan in both fixtures. He really, really was dominant. And I was so impressed by him that you can imagine that United, it's not hard for United don't have to do any scouting. They just have to watch the 2 games against us in the Europa League. He really was fantastic. Super chat coming in here from Sherna. How you doing, buddy? Sancho, Rice, and Koundé are contenders for sure. Everybody let me know yes or no in the comments. Would you be happy with that? If that was United summer, signing Sancho, Rice, and Koundé, I would be over the goddamn moon. An elite level centre back, and is he an elite level defensive midfielder? I'm not sure, but I feel like I do Rice a disservice because so many people rate him, and so many people don't really seem to think he's the real deal. And maybe that's a little bit unfair on the lad, but I just haven't watched enough of Declan Rice and enough of West Ham because I don't watch West Ham to really understand whether he is a properly, truly top-class player in that position or not. And it's a point that Matt made earlier in a comment. Does he even play that pivot role on his own? As I said, we'll see. It's a good time to watch England at the Euros because it's a good time for us to really focus on Declan Rice and really see whether he actually can be that midfielder for Manchester United. Because if he can be, and he proves he can be for England, that on the biggest stage in an international tournament, he proves that he can do it at the top level. Therefore, United can really go after him. But the problem there is that if he does that, his price is going to go up even more so. Dan there, asking for a quick recap. Of course you can have a recap, my friend. Let me quickly do it now. Let's go back to the start. So it all started yesterday. We're going to go for a 60-second Sancho roundup. Let's go. A 60 million bid was rejected yesterday morning. That's where the story started to break. It was reported by the Times. It was reported by Bild out in Germany. And it was followed up by the Telegraph. Big reporters, reputable newspapers. That's where it started. Where it got interesting was that reports of a second bid came out from the BBC Backed up by The Guardian with Jacob Steinberg and Simon Stone. £67 million. 7 million earlier than the earlier bid of 60. So that either means that there's different information going to 4 different newspapers, or 2 bids have gone in. And I'm hoping it's the 2 bids have gone in, because that shows that United are aggressively pushing for Sancho. We all want that deal to be done before the Euros. And as Fabrizio Romano points out here, Man United are working hard to make sure that the negotiations for this deal are not too long. And that's the crucial part to understand here, Dan, and everybody as well. United are pushing hard, pushing fast. We're not waiting 1-2 weeks and big gaps between these bids. We're going in hard and fast, and that is why it is important. So I hope that was a good recap for you and that helped you understand. Let's read a few more of your comments out here. It is ridiculous how many comments come in. I cannot keep up with them. Christian there, you're saying Sancho, Neves and Varane. Oh, who would you prefer out of that? Sancho, Rice and Koundé, or Sancho, Neves and Varane? There's 2 options there. Let me know in the comments. Type in which of those, if you were going to sign those 3, one set of 3 or the other set of 3, which one are you choosing? That's going to be a hard one to talk about. Let me get rid of that comment there, and I'll read your comments out. Oh man, I love doing these live streams. I really do. I'm annoyed that I haven't been able to do them more often throughout the summer, but not throughout the summer, throughout the year. But I'm going to be doing plenty of these during the summer, and that's why I keep imploring you all, please subscribe to the channel. It's been slow. I haven't been as hot on the channel as I should have and could have been, but I want to improve that. I want to get better, and I want you all here with me. I'm going to be improving these streams as well very soon. It's going to be an even sexier setup that's coming. Just need to get that technically working properly before I release it to all of you. But what trio do you think you want? We've got Sancho. Paul saying Sancho, Ruben and Varane. We've got Roy. You're saying Sancho, Rice and Varane. Sancho and Varane and convert McTominay into a defensive midfielder, says Daniel Elliott. I will disagree on that. McTominay is much better as a box-to-box midfielder. I mean, you could convert him into a DM, but United are not in the market for converting players into, we just need Son and an elite player in that position. Asan saying Varane is the best centre-back we can sign. Sancho, Neves and Varane, says Sonny. And we've got somebody, Maxi, watching from Botswana. Good morning to you, my friend. Katerina with a question. Hi, Sam. If we sign Sancho, do you think we actually need a striker? I don't think we need a striker this summer. No, I don't. I think we've got Cavani on a 1-year deal, and that gives us the opportunity to wait for Erling Haaland and wait for his release clause to kick in next summer, which is 75 million euros, which is going to be about half the price that anybody's going to have to pay for him this summer. And therefore, United can go in big with the wages. It's going to be a record-breaking wage, big on the bonus fee, big on anything, because we're not going to be paying over the odds for him. And Solskjaer has to... He was the one who brought him to Mulder. He was the one who helped him start on his career. So if there's any manager in the world who's really going to have some sort of persuasion with Erling Haaland, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I hope to God that he can use that to his advantage and that we can get Erling Haaland in next summer. Because if we get Sancho in this summer, and then we get Haaland in next summer, we're winning it all. We're winning trebles, back-to-back trebles, everything. But no, Haaland really is going to be, he looks like a proper Ronaldo. Amazing player. So many comments coming in. Mike Mears saying Sancho, Varane and Neves. Simon saying Sancho, Ghana and Varane. You're putting a lot of faith in Ghana there. I mean, you can't really put too much faith in him because you just don't really know what the lad is going to do. But there really are so many comments coming in. I cannot keep up with all of these. I mean, I've said this more than once, and I'll keep saying it. It blows my mind that Manchester United right now has still not gone aggressively for a defensive midfielder at all. We just had tentative links to Declan Rice, not even tentative links to Ndidi, not even any links to Ruben Neves. I find it strange that United are just ignoring it. And maybe the old problem that United can only really deal with one big transfer at once is the case here. And then as soon as Sancho goes over the line, maybe we can see some movement with a defensive midfielder. I don't know. But a big club of United's scale and ability should be able to deal with more than one big transfer at once. That's my own opinion. Let's see if we've got, oh, no, I've got a comment here coming in from Sherna. Thank you very much, buddy, for the super chat. Sancho and no central defensive midfielder and no centre back won't get us anywhere, in my opinion. And I completely agree with you, my friend. I think Sancho is a sexy signing. Let's not get that twisted. But let's not forget how many goals we already scored last season. Bruno Fernandes, 20 plus. Rashford, did he get 20 plus? I think, no, but he got plenty. Cavani got nearly 20. Greenwood got over 10. We scored tons of goals last year. Goal scoring was not the issue. The defensive midfield and the centre-back was the issue. Going 1-0 down in every goddamn game was the issue. We just had the attackers with the ability to save us from that game. But what we need next season is to have that firm defence, have that firm midfield so that instead of that attack chasing a 1-0 deficit, they can put us 1-2-0 up and we can control a game instead of chasing. Clearly, we're good at chasing games. And I think that comes from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's underdog mentality. I think he's got a natural underdog mentality. And I might be wrong in saying that, but it feels for me that when the back's against the wall, that's when Solskjaer's management really sparkles. I think when it comes to elevating us to the next level, and I think you saw that when we choked, when we went top of the league last year, we really, really choked. Well, we didn't know what to do. The players didn't know what to do. And I don't think Solskjaer knew what to do because instead of looking up and chasing someone, we were looking down and everyone was chasing us. And I think that mentality just isn't there yet. So maybe if you can have England winning the Euros and you can have Rashford coming back, Sancho, Trippier, Maguire, Henderson, Shaw, all coming back as Euro 2020 winners, that's going to be a huge influx of winning mentality into the squad. And maybe if you can even get France doing it, and Rafael Varane can come in, and Pogba can come in, or even Portugal with Bruno Fernandes, and maybe Ronaldo coming in. These are the sorts of mentalities that we need to have. And maybe, I think I said this before, maybe Bruno Fernandes is going to be the best person to win the Euros. Because imagine he comes back having won the Euros. He's already Cantona in his presence among the team. Win the Euros as well. It's going to come back even big swagger. Jake, how you doing, buddy? Big fan of the channel. Finally managed to catch you live. Make sure, Jake, you subscribe. I'm sure you are. But I'll be here Monday to Friday at 9:30 throughout the summer. And I'll be going live whenever there's a big update and answering your questions. Because clearly, there's a lot of you watching, all watching on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you drop a like on the page. I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it throughout the stream because it's important. It really helps the growth of the page, growth of the videos, and the growth of you and me together. But drop a like on it and share it. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Let's read a few more of your comments out now. Any chance of getting Grealish? I personally don't think so. I think Grealish is going to be a £90 million man, roughly. Especially if he can go and light up the Euros as he really genuinely could. He's going to be a very exciting one to watch. But I think because we've got Jadon Sancho coming here, well, in my eyes anyway, I don't think you can sign Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish in the same summer into a squad, which is already quite littered in that position. Because if you get Jack Grealish in, you've already got Van der Beek he's competing with, Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba. We're a little bit spoiled in that position. We need to focus on our priorities, and our priorities certainly wouldn't be signing Sancho and Grealish. Let me know in the comments where you're all watching it from, because there's still tons of you watching, and I'll give a few more shout-outs before we finish. But, Kieran, good man, Sam. Great to see more videos. Click the wrong comment because so many comments coming in. Thank you, buddy. Really good to have all of you joining in. We've got B-Man watching from Ghana. How you doing, my friend? We've got Camille watching from Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to you. We've got JAF watching from South Wales. Plenty of you watching from South Wales. Was that different South Wales? Matt. How you doing, Matt? Watching from Malta, as always. Tejesvi from Mauritius. Oh, man. All around the world. Big up everybody who sent in some super chats today. The super chats really do help me. They really do help the channel. So if you can, keep sending them in. I don't want to sound like a beg. Kind of sound like I'm begging. But they're crucial for taking the channel forward. And Mohamedou, watching from USA. Would I take Chicharito back? That's such a random comment, but I had to pick that one out. Would I take Hernandez back? No. But I tell you what, Hernandez is certainly one of my favorite United players. But until tomorrow, thank you very much for everybody for joining in. I'll see you soon. I'll be here if there's any more updates on Jadon Sancho or anything. Thank you all for joining in. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Drop a like on Facebook too. Until next time, take it easy.